Beijing vows to fight back as U.S. President Donald Trump poses retaliatory tariffs on other nations. It escalates the trade war with China by imposing 125% tariffs on Chinese goods. E-commerce deliveries likely to get affected after low-value parcels shipped from Hong Kong to the U.S. could face additional charges. And police and the Monetory Authority step up efforts to tackle scam syndicates and their use of mule accounts to launder funds. Good evening. You're watching Cable News. I'm Quentin Yang. China has hit back firmly with 84% tariffs on all U.S. products, with a pledge to fight to the end. Beijing's trade war with Washington has escalated further after U.S. President Donald Trump revised duties on Chinese imports from 54% to 125% within 1 week. Sachin Katvi reports.
Strongly criticizing the selective action taken by the United States, Chief Executive John Lee said China persists in seeking progress while maintaining stability and economic development. U.S. bullying not only goes against economic principles, but also seriously violates and insults the multilateral trading system, Lee added. Beijing's retaliatory tariffs of 84% on all U.S. imports came into effect today after U.S. President Donald Trump spared the rest of the world but further raised levies on Chinese goods to 125%. Saying he would meet President Xi, Trump reiterated that America's trade imbalance with China is staggering, and he wants to level the playing field.
Not only with China, but China was by far the biggest abuser in history, and others also, but somebody had to do it. They had to stop because it was not sustainable. Last year, China made $1 trillion off trade with the United States. That's not right.
Brushing off worries about escalating the trade war with China, Trump said things stand where they are today because of mistakes made by previous U.S. administrations.
I think President Xi is a very smart guy, and I think we'll end up making a very good deal for both. But just in terms of basic escalation, which is what you said, no, I think that President Xi is a man who knows exactly what has to be done. He's a very smart man. He loves his country. I know that for a fact. I know him very well. And I think he's going to want to get to a deal. I think that's going to happen. We'll get a phone call at some point, and it'll be off to the races. It'll be a great thing for them. It'll be a great thing for us. It's going to be a great thing for the world and for humanity.
中方的立场是明确一贯的。
He Yongqiang, spokeswoman for the Commerce Ministry, said China will continue to take countermeasures and pointed out that the mainland's trade resilience has not diminished despite facing increasingly significant challenges. Sachin Katvi, Cable News.
Meanwhile, Asian stock markets rebounded after U.S. President Donald Trump put a 90-day pause on import tariffs from most of America's trading partners. After an overnight rally on Wall Street, which saw U.S. stocks surge to close almost 8% up, Japan's Nikkei 225 closed the day 9% higher after Trump declared an immediate 90-day tariff pause for many countries. In Seoul, the benchmark Korea Composite Stock Price Index advanced 4.4% at the open and made further gains to close 5.2% higher at 2,412 points. The bull run extended to Indonesia as well, where stocks closed 5% higher. The country's currency, the rupiah, also gained some ground against the U.S. dollar. Despite the recovery of the financial markets, uncertainty remains as U.S.-China tensions soar. Hong Kong-based investment manager Francis Leung said investors are concerned about what China will do with its U.S. Treasury bonds.
The threat of recession has not faded. And one of the most important indicators is that U.S. interest rates are spiking because people fear that China will unload $1 trillion worth of U.S. Treasury bills. And that will bring chaos to the global financial market if China decided to dump U.S. treasuries in the market.
Back locally, U.S. President Donald Trump has tripled the tariff on low-value parcels shipped to the U.S. from Hong Kong, which were previously duty-free. The government condemned the move and plans to announce the suspension of postal services to the U.S. soon. Parcel companies will continue their services and can prepay duties for customers, but with additional service charge. Cheryl Yun reports.
The SAR government has expressed strong disapproval of Washington canceling the duty-free de minimis treatment for postal items shipped from the city to the United States starting from May 2nd, adding that it has caused a lot of confusion and inconvenience to the public. However, there were no such notices of suspension of service displayed at the General Post Office in Central this morning. The government emphasized that Hong Kongers should prepare for potentially high fees when sending items to the U.S. The statement reiterated that Hong Kong Post will not collect any tariffs on behalf of U.S. authorities and will continue postal services to the U.S. until further suspension details are announced. Meanwhile, logistics firms will maintain their parcel services for now but have different approach to tariffs. Courier company DHL responded that custom duties are usually paid by parcel recipients, as the taxes are assessed and collected by U.S. Customs upon arrival. FedEx stated that they can pay taxes in advance for customers but will charge a service fee of approximately 2% of the tax amount. Customers were also reminded that any changes in customs duties during shipping will be based on the time when the goods arrive at the U.S. border. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
Authorities are intensifying efforts to combat financial crimes in the city, including empowering banks to freeze so-called mule accounts to clamp down on scams and money laundering. The Hong Kong Monetory Authority, in joint efforts with the police, is spearheading amendments to banking regulations, enabling institutions to exchange customer data when fraud is suspected. Under the proposed changes, lenders could adopt two mechanisms. First, a request and a response system to seek transaction data from other banks when detecting red flags, and a voluntary disclosure protocol to proactively alert peers about suspicious accounts. This allows banks to collectively assess whether a client is a bad actor or at risk of being scammed, said Daryl Chen, Deputy Chief Executive of the city's de facto central bank overseeing anti-fraud efforts. Information sharing will occur on a secure, police-monitored platform, according to Chen, emphasizing stringent confidentiality safeguards. The intensified efforts came after the number of scam cases rose by 12% to almost 45,000 last year, involving more than $9 billion. Over 8,600 individuals were arrested for lending their bank accounts for money laundering, a 44% annual surge. Transport Chief Mabel Chen said the government will tender contracts for its smart green mass transit system this year, starting with the Kai-Tak project, followed by the East Kowloon developments next year. The government aims to finalize all contracts within a year of tendering. Cheryl Yun reports.
The Kai-Tak and East Kowloon projects will utilize the build-operate-transfer method, where private entities construct and own the infrastructure under a government concession. During a Legislative Council Finance Committee meeting, Chen emphasized the government's strategy of leveraging market forces instead of public funds to reduce costs and expand services, increasing passenger engagement. Meanwhile, Chen said plans are underway to improve connectivity within the Greater Bay Area, with surveys and designs for two cross-border railway projects, including the Hong Kong-Shenzhen Western Rail Link, set to commence this year. The Northern Link spur line will also undergo detailed planning and design this year, utilizing mainland construction standards and resources to accelerate completion. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
Tourism Secretary Rosanna Law has unveiled sweeping plans to redefine the sector's appeal by promoting coastal tourism. In a media interview, Law said the plan aims to transform Hong Kong's waterfronts and outlying islands into dynamic hubs for sustainable, eco-friendly travel. The focus will be on connecting different points on both sides of the Victoria Harbour with short excursion cruises. Additional docking facilities with circular cruise routes are also being looked at. Enhanced ferry routes linking landmarks on outlying islands will be given priority. New yacht berths are planned at the Airport City project, which Law believes will refresh Hong Kong's island tourism offerings. Meanwhile, authorities will relax fishing bans and permit catch-and-cook experience on boats, allowing visitors to savor freshly caught seafood during guided island excursions. Law said she had received a positive response when she briefed Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office Director Xia Baolong about the plans during her trip to Beijing last week. Authorities in the Dominican Republic have ended the search for survivors after the roof of a nightclub collapsed on Tuesday, killing over 180 people with an unknown number of others still unaccounted for. Anna Chen reports.
In the capital city, Santo Domingo, people mourned the victims of the Caribbean nation's worst disaster in decades. For 2 days, families of those missing gathered outside the wreckage of the iconic Jet Set Club, anxiously waiting for information about their loved ones. Many bodies have yet to be identified. Rescue workers had ended the search for survivors, as the authorities said all reasonable possibilities of finding more survivors had been exhausted, and the focus of the operation will turn to recovering bodies. Local media said between 500 to 1,000 people were in the club when the roof caved in, leaving the venue with a wide gaping hole in the middle of the building where the audience would have been located during the performance of renowned merengue singer Ruby Perez. Perez and 2 former Major League Baseball players were among the dead. Over 500 people were injured. The cause of the roof's collapse was not yet known. Anna Chen, Cable News.
China's consumer prices fell for the second straight month in March, as caution grew over the economic outlook amid an escalating trade war with the U.S. Anna Chen has more details.
As mainland exporters brace for a tough time, domestic consumption has taken on new importance in China. The National Consumer Price Index, a key gauge of inflation, fell 0.1% year-on-year last month, while on a monthly basis, the CPI went down 0.4% in March. That was lower than February's 0.7% decline, but missed the forecast to remain flat. The National Bureau of Statistics attributed the improvement to the positive impact of policies designed to boost consumption. On a yearly basis, food prices dropped by 1.4%. Core inflation, excluding volatile food and fuel prices, edged up 0.5% in March from a year earlier. Meanwhile, the Producer Price Index declined 2.5% on a yearly basis, deepening the 2.2% fall in February, the weakest in 4 months. Citing people familiar with the matter, Bloomberg reported that top Chinese leaders are poised to meet today to discuss additional economic stimulus, which will be focused on support measures for housing, consumer spending, and technological innovation. Other government bodies, including financial regulators, are also convening to discuss steps to boost the economy and stabilize the markets, sources said. Anna Chen, Cable News.
Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index ended the day up 417 points. Top active stocks of the day: Tracker found up 46 cents, Tencent up $3.60. Meituan was down $1, while BYD up $9. On to the weather now. Mainly cloudy with isolated showers, misty in the morning and at night tomorrow. The minimum temperature will be around 23 degrees in the morning. More showers with squally thunderstorms during the day on Saturday. That's our news tonight. I'm Quentin Yang. Thank you for watching. Good night.